Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm DJ Anwet. I'm joined by a special guest host today, Javo.
How y'all doing?
Javo actually was one of our guests before in the previous season, so we're actually happy to have him back here on the episode to actually speak with some very distinguished guests that we have with us today. In the background, I do have Skip and Tamaya there on the cameras, making sure that they capture everything, make sure the content is looking great. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring us into this, man. Today, we are thrilled to have AJ and Mike from Audio Box Studios as our guests. Their studio has become a household name in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, known for its exceptional work with local artists and hosting network events for various industry professionals. They have even worked with big names such as 50 Cent, Fantasia, DaBaby, and more. Audio Box Studios is also home to the DaBaby, who got his start here. The studio is not only about music, though, but it's about giving back to the community as they run a summer program for kids. If you're curious about what they do, please check out their Instagram. Also, join us on this episode. And as everybody knows, please join us as we dive into this world of music with AJ and Mike. I want to thank you all for joining us here today.
Yes, sir.
How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Man, we appreciate you all being so poignant and on time.
Oh, yeah.
We love to see that.
We
because
in the
it's something
business.
that, you can tell.
Time is money.
You can tell.
I know. Yeah.
This is our fourth season, and this is going to be this is the salvo for our season. It's the opening shot. And so what's really cool is to sit with other business individuals, folks who are like-minded and about getting stuff done. And so we are here today in a beautiful location, and we do want to shout it out real quick, man. We are at Carroll Mountain Health Park.
Vibe.
Yeah, man, here in beautiful Gastonia, North Carolina. I have to say that because we were here a few weeks ago to work at we were working in a sense at an event that was put on for the community. And so we have been back and forth between Charlotte, Gastonia, and Columbia recently. And so it's nice to actually sit down and talk.
Yes, sir.
And of course, I think you all know something about this gentleman that's sitting to my left.
I know this young man right here.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
I just want the audience to know, hey, just before y'all say, hey, I think he knows them already.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and put that out there.
A lot of work.
Mm-hmm. I guess we always start off with this question. It's a very baseline question, and of course it makes sense. Who or what influenced you all growing up? And the reason why I have to ask this is because the generation that you all are from is the generation that, of course, we end up looking back at. Come on. We want to know, how do we do this? We want inspiration. So what inspired you all?
I let Mike first. I got a lot of inspiration.
I was waiting for you to say that. I knew that was coming.
I go first.
I guess it would be a hometown band that I used to look up to when I was younger. Used to go and basically go watch them practice because I was too young to get in the club and everything like that. But I used to just go watch them practice, and that's what inspired me to get into it. And years later, when I got a recording contract and went to New York, found out that the record deal that they had, I ended up getting because rap was coming in and R&B was going out. So it's kind of funny to, look up to someone, and then the next thing you know, you're in New York and you find out that, the person you used to look up to, you're actually still in the...
taking the place.
You're taking their place.
What was the band, if you don't mind me asking?
Pure Fire.
What? Yep. See, this I know it's for real. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. Check that out and see what it is. So that caught me off guard because, of course, this is a good thing. Man, y'all are pretty good on the internet. Y'all like ninjas. Y'all hard to hammer down. So
Yeah.
I did not know that you yourself had a record contract. So you
deals
two
with the
record
first
deals.
demo I ever sent off to anybody. Time I sent off a demo, got two recording deals, one with Polygram here in the United States and one with Criminal Records in London.
So where are you from originally?
Kershaw, South Carolina.
I hear it in the voice. I have to make sure I was reading it right. Okay, excellent.
Yes, sir.
All right, so from Kershaw, you ended up getting up to New York. Start. That was a start.
Yes.
Okay. How about for you, AJ?
I'm from the church, man. My dad, all his brothers in the quartet group. So
Oh, wow.
I'm in the basement with them and rehearsing. They showing me everything from the jump. My Uncle Steve, rest in peace, one of the baddest jazz guitar players right out of Charlotte, North Carolina. If you YouTube and Google him. First person I knew had a home studio. And so he would let me come in and play around on his drum machines, like the little 8-pad little drum machine, Elisa's sound. I don't know what it was, but I wanted to do music, and he saw it in me at an early age. So he was the first person to embrace and say, "Come on, nephew, come on. You can, I didn't want to go outside and play. I wanted to come to.
You wanted to do that.
Yeah. So from there,
Studio.
I probably was in every little field of music. I was an artist, producer, and then followed in engineering, where I felt like the void was in the Carolinas. So that's kind of like where I took off with engineering, and then ended up owning a studio in Columbia, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Quantum Beats, my partner Aaron. And Charlotte linked up with this guy right here.
Yeah.
And it's been up all the way up. Yes, sir.
So question, just to jump back on, because I wanted to start off with just some of that introductory information. From Kershaw,
mm-hmm.
How did you get into the rest of the scene?
I think of what it was is that once I had the 2 record deals and got cheated out of everything, I said, let me get into building so I can learn how to build my own studio, because I didn't have any say-so when I went to somebody else's studio. It was always changing the music. Whatever got me in the door wouldn't help me sustain, the whole journey of going through the recording process. So I said, well, let me learn how to build. So I said, let me get a job building on first shift, and then at nighttime I work on my music, and I've never pushed record since.
Man, can I say this, yo? All right, I wish what you just said, I'll bottle that up and I'll beat people in the head with it. And what I mean by that is, one thing that we've ran into specifically when we do this podcast and just talking with folks out in the industry and creatives, et cetera, is not understanding the need to have the ability to fuel yourself.
Oh, man.
You all know where I'm coming from with that.
Because a lot of artists that AJ and I run across, they say, well, I can't work on my craft at the same time, so I'm going to quit my job. I mean, I just got off work and
see what I'm saying?
just made it here,
Yeah.
and then got to go again tomorrow. So we still work 7 days a week. I mean,
it don't stop. It don't stop. Yeah.
And that's something I think a lot of artists speak to this on this, because this is right on your money. This is right where you at.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Mike and AJ, man. Ultimate professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate professionals. I've actually had the pleasure of getting to watch their growth. I had to come back to Audio Box in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
They had the red room and the blue room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the red room and the blue room. And, a person come from Owensboro, South Carolina, St. Matthews, South Carolina, country, never seen nothing like this before. E-lights, bottles everywhere, top of the line recording equipment. Yeah. It was kind of funny because the first time I called, it was like, you be recording with Willie Frame. I'm like, Willie Frame?
2 last
Yeah.
first names.
Yeah, first names. I said, oh, gee. I said, hey, Grenade didn't record. I said, Willie Frame. I said, okay. But nah, man, ever since then, I just want to be able to, I'm just glad I'm able to be here today and tune in and give these guys their flowers, man.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean,
we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
Really locking in with us early. Believing in the vision that we had
Absolutely,
early.
man.
And
Used to be there all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Say it again.
He in there.
All right,
He in there.
Yeah. Because I know for a lot of folks, when it comes to doing music and being a creative in the industry, the idea of having to put forth raw, hard effort before being able to then be blessed with the time to be a creative is something that a lot of people don't want to do.
No.
This is one thing I know when we ask folks, so how do you do what you do? How do you start from the bottom and then bring it to the top? And this is what our program is about, is explaining to people those necessary techniques and tools that you have to succeed. So the fact that you all are still working, even though for most folks in our community, you all have reached a modicum of success. What is it that fuels you to continue to do that work day to day outside of the fun, quote unquote, creative process of making music, being around artists? What makes you say, I'm going to get up and going to work today?
Just trying to always, for me and Mike, it's always take it to the next level. With this music industry and this music business that we're in, it's always evolving and changing. So that's a good thing, because we don't get bored, because it's always going to change. It's always going to go to another genre or sound or whatever. We have to do the look of the studios, the equipment. And it's just so much that changes so rapidly now that we have to almost keep up with and not move too fast too, because you can jump to the newest technology too fast sometimes.
And ready to bring it in.
Yeah, so we kind of balance each other out like that, because he wants to.
Soon as it comes
out. I was about to say, because you're the building man.
So I'm always
ready to
he ready to
update.
go. I'm like, Mike,
and believe it or not, we got a lot of stuff that we done bought that I haven't even got to, and I still say, well, AJ, you know we need to go ahead and get this new computer. The Super Pro Max.
Yeah. I'm like, let's get the bugs out first. Let them have it for about a year, and then we'll get back to it. But no, just
it balanced out good.
I was about to say, you all work well as a team.
Okay.
And we've been working together for 8 or 9 years. Never had an argument.
And we committed to being number one.
That's right.
That right there alone drives me and him every day, no matter how frustrating it gets. How
always
hard,
the studio. The studio has to be first.
Yeah.
It's not the money, it's the studio.
The studio.
Yeah. So that alone drives us every day, So definitely.
But to us, it's almost like, almost like a circus because we're always entertaining. I mean, we may have a big guest coming. We may have the event and stuff like that. So
I see that.
We got to set the lights up. AJ got to set the sound up.
Yeah.
We got to get food, drinks, ice, and, the music's got to be right. So it's like entertaining. I mean, and it's a show.
Yeah. And that's one thing a lot of people say about Audio Box is the vibe. It's the vibe there.
Y'all's vibe is y'all can host events.
Yeah, so
there's not many studios you could do that.
So we have people fly in.
Yeah, from Germany and
all over the place, man.
I mean, we've had the CEO of Woods fly all the way in from the UK, and to us, that's big. Whenever you get someone who owns about 84% of all the tobacco
I was about
companies
to say,
over in the UK, fly over to meet us and congratulate on us as far as helping them promote their products and stuff like that. I mean, we have several different brands that we represent.
I saw that.
And that's something to us that, we kind of felt early on was important because it's more to it than just running the studio. We kind of look at it like, well, why don't we get into advertising or helping other people push their brands? So there were certain brands that we want to go after, Red Bull, so we're on their team, and also Backwoods.
Backwoods.
Bel Air. So, we're talking to all the CEOs. We don't just work with them, but we know the owners and things like that.
You all have actual business relationships with the individuals to work together in a partnership way. No, it's tit for tat. It's not that you're getting something out of it and they're not getting anything from you all.
Oh, no.
It's shared relationship.
They're watching, and they normally, we see what you guys are doing. We think this will be a great partnership. We go from there a lot of the time, so we don't have to go out searching. This is the way that Mike started with the way he promoted the studio.
That's what I was about to ask.
It was just like all the pictures, all the videos. No other studios really were doing it like that.
But what caught me off guard, because I really didn't know how I got into it, but Chuck T was saying, Mike, I remember when you first came to Charlotte, you was a photographer, and I said, what now? But I started out being a photographer because that was my end game, how to get in, the clubs and know everybody and all that.
You put a camera around your neck,
come on in.
Quiet, Mike. Really?
Oh, yeah. So, I've got pictures of AJ. We got pictures of everybody from DJ Khaled to
everybody.
Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj. I mean, we've met all these people in our journey, and it was just, we had all that planned because we wanted to show people that, this is where you want to be at.
And you made it a place for people to venture to. It's a destination.
Yeah, I like to tell Mike, like, we're the hub right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's how
I 100% agree.
Describe what we got going on. It's like, we're the hub. So everybody come through and network and
everything else.
So, I mean,
you are not lying.
So AJ and I, mostly AJ, but we stay in contact with Honor Taylor and DaBaby and all of them. So, I mean, we still do work with them. We're proud of them. We're not taking their credit or nothing like that. But to see somebody that, used to be in the studio playing ball because we have basketball goal.
Absolutely.
And,
really? Man, okay.
But to see, the baby in there that used to shoot, basketball and all that. Now, he's world famous and stuff. And to be in Vegas and actually see him on stage and call out my name and stuff, I'm just
wow.
This is
now putting two together.
Yeah.
I see what's all right. Putting two together.
Yeah.
Wait, so if you could for me, because of course we're going to ask you a question about entrepreneurship because we want to ask this. But how did you all develop some of these relationships that you had in the sense of allowing people to know that it's safe for them to come to your studio, produce out of your studio, and that the product that is coming out of the studio will be something that can be taken to the next level?
Well, I think AJ, from the beginning, he always said, let's just keep it corporate. Don't let it get too far out of hand. And that's something that we paid attention to because you can let a lot of people in your studio, which, like I said, lots of nights were sold out and things like that. But we don't just let any and everybody come and do what they want to do. And that's a process that, we have to stay on because you can very easily somebody rent the studio or come have an event at the studio, and before you know it, there's 100 people outside. I mean, we've had nights where there were hundreds of people outside.
Yeah, we have major
where there
artists
was cars lining all the way up to the stoplight, and you see the what's called
Sprinters.
the sprinters, and
Yeah,
everything.
Sprinter vans.
So when you see about 7 or 8 Sprinter vans lined up, I mean, I think our highlights when we had like 10 different artists at one night.
2019 was the last CIAA.
Yeah.
2019.
We had from QC, we had
everybody.
Little Baby, Dog, Gucci Man,
Sweetie,
Dirt,
Vaughn.
They're all at the studio.
Block
At the
Boy
same
J,
time. At the same time.
Block Boy
JB.
JB,
Yeah.
Rocco was there too.
Yeah.
What?
And,
It was just like
Ghana.
we looked at each
Ain't no
other.
telling who you
things.
run into
Yeah.
when you're in there.
We said, I think we on to something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all definitely signed. Y'all,
Yeah.
That's when we start saying we're the world famous artist.
Yeah, and this is before DaBaby got signed. So
It is. Yeah, that's before that time.
yeah, so
Come on.
we definitely we just proud of the work we put in, and just like I said, we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to build. So that's the number one thing we want people to know. We're going to continue to build. We're not comfortable.
You aren't going to rest on your laurels.
No,
It's not time for
We're
that.
trying to
You
elevate.
still work 7 days a week. I
Yeah.
know y'all aren't playing.
And that's just one of the things that attracted me to Audio Box too, because they got probably a nice studio. And I know you said Charlotte, but I feel like that Audio Box one of the top studios on the East Coast.
I believe
Appreciate
it.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's amazing
yeah.
to hear, people from Memphis that, a lot
Yeah.
of groups that come from
Yeah.
Memphis.
It's state of
They
the
love
art.
the studio. They coming in there and
State
it's
of the
like,
art.
man, we need one of these in
I'm about to
Memphis.
say, yeah, everything that you all have in you all studio, like when I
You
look
should see
at
the
it,
fish tank.
that's why. All right, I may have to. I need to come. Hey, I know this is
telling
a
you
lot.
about the
That
fish tank,
I
right?
need to come in
The
and get a
calls
tour
I get
of the
from Mike
studio.
about the fish tank. Man, I
Yeah,
got
what's up with this
stories.
fish tank?
He sent me a
Man.
picture. I think we need this fish. He sent me the picture, something this long. I'm
telling
like,
you, man.
what is
I've never-
that, Mike?
the fish that's even
So I
bigger, I've
end up
never
getting
seen.
2 zebra eels. They're about as big as your wrist there and about 3 foot long.
Yeah.
Matching. So I said, AJ, we got to have these.
What?
I said, I know it looks unusual.
But when people come, they was in there last night.
And they
I was
liked the
there. They was
vibe.
like, what is that?
I'm
I
telling
said,
you, man.
yeah, that's
because we wanted to come up with a place that it was almost like a man cave, but at the same time, you could go in there and cook. We have a confection oven. We have a refrigerator.
Mhm.
We have
And you asked what made people
stove
like
top.
feel, like we were the go-to studio.
Yeah.
It's because we make them feel like they at home.
Right at home.
If they there, go in the refrigerator, get you.
Yeah, man.
We ain't you at
That's
home.
what does
So we have chefs come during our events.
Wow.
And like I said, it's just a different vibe. We try to provide a little bit of everything along with the music. And I think,
It's at a metropolitan level.
right.
And what I mean by like cosmopolitan, like worldwide, it doesn't matter where you would go. If you went to a good studio, this is what a good studio looks like. And I can tell that
Absolutely.
from the equipment that you all have, the engineers that you have working in there.
And that's how
Plateau.
we end up getting 50 Cent at the studio. He wanted
Oh, yeah.
to come to a central location so that all the radio station could come there and interview him. And
So they interviewed him at you all station.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, I have to say this too, because I know I come back before the show and I'm always listening to the radio and I'll hear them talking about No Limit Larry, et cetera. But
That's my guy.
see, this is what I was about to ask you about, because you all host these events
Right.
that are basically, these are producer events.
Oh yeah.
Could you explain a little bit about that to our audience can hear that?
So we, in collaboration with Backwoods, we were doing monthly, I would call them networking events.
Mhm.
And so we would do basically the artists, spotlight the artists, and they come, network, perform, and the producers were kind of there, but they were kind of on the sideline. They didn't have an outlet. So I said, Mike, maybe next time we need to switch it up. He said, well, let's do a producer event to highlight the producers because they don't have a,
They
a
don't.
venue
Yeah,
outlet.
they don't.
Don't.
So we started doing producer events, and it turned into like almost like beat battle competitions.
Oh, wow.
And No Limit Larry was hosting them, and the turnout was so crazy, and the talent that came out of
Yeah.
I was
Coming
not.
out
It
of
wasn't even
woodworks.
Charlotte. It was out of everywhere.
we
Yeah.
got people.
It was incredible.
Who flew all the way from, they drove all the way from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
We had somebody else drive from somewhere else. Like 4
Just the
hours.
talent that we were able to pull just
Word of
by-
mouth.
Yeah. So from there, it just kind of took off, and producers were looking for it. When the next one, I think we're going to go back to that next month.
Mhm.
We were just talking about that yesterday. So, yeah, the producer one, it was very big, and like I said, we never heard of anybody highlighting the producers. And me being
It's
in the
not a
studio
big
as an
thing.
engineer,
Yeah, you
I know without that beat,
it ain't nothing.
Nothing,
You
man.
ain't got
So,
nothing going.
yeah,
Without that beat,
yeah,
without that
yeah.
juice.
Let's highlight the producers. Let's give them some shine and really let them know, you know what I'm saying, that they're important. the most important to me. But aside from the engineer, but,
you gotta have an engineer.
And we've had engineers come out, producers come out of there. They've got gold and platinum records. And they started at Audio Box Studios. Not only that, singing careers and DJ careers. So
it's
a lot
just,
of people.
I can say it's just interesting. I can tell you one quick story. I started off recording DaBaby in the very beginning when he was doing mixtapes and he was doing jack beats and stuff. And he had something called Baby Talk. And so we was doing those. And so I was in a session with him in what we call the Red Room, like you said. And matter of fact, I'm going to swap that around. I was in the Red Room with Anthony Hamilton. And Willie Frank was in the Blue Room with DaBaby.
Shout out to Willie Frank.
So Mike, this is when DaBaby was on his rise. Anthony Hamilton didn't know who he was. So Mike said, let me introduce you to this guy, this young man right here. So they come, DaBaby and Anthony Hamilton meet right there at Audio Box, and to see them on the Grammys performing together a couple years later, I was like, man, this is unbelievable. Yeah. And people don't even know.
Don't know that background story.
Yeah, so
don't get to see that.
Just to be a part of that. That was history for the city of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina. But,
definitely.
Yeah, that was
I was watching it. Now you ready? Now I know the background story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you always wonder, like, how did these people meet? Where did they come together?
Yeah.
And you don't realize that there's a central location that they all came to, that they come out to actually hang out and talk. You don't realize when these things happen. So,
and even with AJ, I mean, I have to give him some credit because he did a project with Casey and Charlie Wilson and Johnny Gill, right?
Babyface.
I seen that.
Babyface, yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I was in the studio when he actually recorded them, so I have to take my hat off to him because I think that won some type of award, like three platinum artists on one R&B artist in one song or something like that. But it won an award, whatever it was. And also, he did another song with Fantasia that was on her album.
I love Fantasia.
With her mama, so her mom can sing too, so.
So that's for real, because the fruit don't fall far from the tree.
No, that family's real talented. I'm actually going to be working with Rico this week coming up. So her brother.
Yeah.
So we're real tight with them. And just to see all the people that come through there, I mean, it's just amazing to us. And we look at it like, just
normal day to day. Yeah, it's the normal day to day.
Yeah.
And they put the trust in you. And I guess this leads to this question. What are some of the hardships that you all face while starting your business? 'Cause I know we talked about a lot of cool stuff, fun stuff, but this is stuff that especially millennials, we need to hear this so we understand, like, when we bump our knee, come up, we bruise, and we got to wipe ourselves up and start, you're fine. Like, you can do it.
Yeah. One thing I tell people when I talk to a lot of young kids, producers, artists, if they can kind of understand the process of even becoming successful, it's not easy and it's failure involved. There's no way really to avoid. I always say all those people you see on TV that made it, why they always have a story, all of them. They always have a story where they fail and they thought it was over, they was going to give up, and then bang, something happened.
And they can rise.
So that's what I tell them. It's going to be like that. That's just a part of the process. So if they understand that it's going to be hard in the beginning, when it hit them, it won't, you know what I'm saying?
They won't have that drawback
they
to the
won't
point
that
where,
devastation, like, oh
they
my
can't bounce
God,
back.
nah. See, me and Mike, when we came in, we always worked hard. So failure or hard times, that was nothing, not to me. I know it wasn't to him. So just to keep up and keep going and believing in the vision. That's
any specific story about a hardship that you all faced where you're like, hey, you know what? I don't know if I got to recalibrate and go a different direction.
I can't look back.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
No, I can't look back. I'll leave that alone.
We had minor, I would say super major issues, but just minor issues, trying to find the right staff, the right group of people
That's
to
understandable
gel together.
in a business way. Yeah, as an entrepreneur,
Really just dealing with a lot of different personalities on a day-to-day. You can imagine, like, for me as an engineer, I could go from gospel artists at 10 o'clock in the morning to a live band at 2 o'clock p.m. And then around 7, 8, 9, I'm trapped out.
Dang, that's tough.
It's just like dealing with a lot of different personalities and knowing how to, like, really say, okay, this is what I want to do. I need to really adapt to being able to deal with different personalities on a daily basis. So
all at the same.
Yeah. So if you want to be an engineer, that's one thing I would. You need to learn how to deal with a lot of personalities.
I didn't do it. I used to be an engineer, but I'm watching AJ and them setting that day after they bob their head with everybody. I'm just like, I can't do it.
Yeah. That's why that's what they call him $1 million engineer.
Yeah. Because like you were an artist. You were an actual artist. So
and I was a good engineer. But
wow.
Once I got into construction and spent so much time doing construction in the afternoon, I just didn't feel like, doing it, I still know what it's supposed to sound like and all that, but you can't tell them nothing if you don't know how to run Pro Tools. So I'm just like, I'm not going to learn that because let me be an executive producer or something. But when it comes to just engineering, that's not for me. I mean, I think, my calling was to build a studio and to work with these different brands and stuff.
I was about to ask a kid, could you talk to our audience a little bit about the skill that is required in building a studio, as well as when it comes to picking actual equipment? Because this is something that blows people's minds. Like, you actually, this is what you need to build a studio. This is the equipment that you're going to need. This is what everybody asks. This is the number one question. What do I need to do it? So if you could give us just a small bit, a glimpse into how your mind works.
Well, my expertise is in building and designing. I mean, I'm good at, sound deadening and killing reflections and things like that and absorption, stuff like that. So that's what my skill set is mainly on. I know how to engineer and everything, but I choose not to do it simply for the fact you can't do everything. I mean, a lot of people look at the music business like it's just 3 roads: gospel, R&B, and rap. Yeah. And there's so many other avenues out there to go in, but they don't concentrate on that. Me, I love all of it, everything but probably bluegrass. Everything else
bluegrass hard again. I know about the bluegrass. Yeah.
But I know music very well, and I listen to everything that everybody else listens to. I mean, they might think I'm out of touch because I'm not in there recording, but AJ is the person who really get the equipment. I mean, there are some pieces that I may point out or something like that. But my thing was always into building and designing. I kind of came in with an MTV Crib mindset.
So you know how to make a beautiful space.
Magic.
Make a beautiful space.
So basically, I started out with the kitchen. I said, let me put the kitchen as a centerpiece, and then we'll build out from that. So, excuse me for the microphone. And we'll build out from that, but I didn't want the studio to look like nobody else's studio. But because I work so much, I never really got to another studio. I really never been in maybe only one studio, and that was like Reflection. But I really never went to 2 or 3 studios before I started building. I wanted to have something fresh and something was different. And I think that's what gave us the edge, is that most studios are built by people who just build houses. And I knew that if I wanted it to look and feel like something different, I had to just come up with an all new idea. So I would pray about it 2 o'clock at night. God would give me the idea, and I would come back and do it. And even now, I look up at the ceiling and stuff and see how symmetrical everything is.
Close your mind.
And I know I couldn't have done it without him. So I think I would have to give him the credit for it, because if you really look at how symmetrical most of the stuff is and the color schemes and all that,
I can already. I'm coming to the studio.
Definitely.
I got to come to the studio.
You got to look at it. It's got 2 full bathrooms in it. It's got a whole kitchen in it. It's got a basketball goal in it. It's got an aquarium in it. It's got a media room. It's got a.
You don't have a media room now?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, he built it. I helped clean up the dust and sweep up everything.
But you'll be surprised at how many people come up to me. Man, I remember when I used to sit on a buck and just watch you just do this and that. There wasn't nothing here but this room here.
Yeah.
So to be able to connect with people like that, even though I don't remember a lot of them, but a lot of them said they was there in the beginning, and when they say they was on the buck, then I know.
You know they was there.
But it took everything I had to do it, but I had to pray about it, and that's what I think the success of it was to be able to pray about it and get the ideas from God, and then just go from there. But we had a lot of obstacles and things like that. But everything I went through, I tell people, everything I went through, I was supposed to go to. Everybody who didn't work out, it didn't work out
for a reason.
And God showed me that this person wasn't supposed to have been a part of it. So it was a lot of shaking in the beginning, as far as shaking the wrong people out of the way. And AJ came, and we only had 2 or 3 words, and we knew right then we was going to do business. And
let's go.
So did you tell our audience the importance? Because I keep hearing this. So I just want you all to step on this a little bit more. Like I said, I don't mind beating dead horses.
I got you.
Could you tell them about the importance of God in what you all are doing? Because you all are making sure that we hear this.
Oh, yeah. No. God got to be the center of everything you do. It just, first of all, it keeps you grounded. You got to be humble at times. If you're an artist, you got to know when to be on your artist time. But at the same time, you got to have some humility. You got to be humble too. And, everything we do, we walk around like regular,
I can tell.
we not,
I can tell.
It's a world famous audio box if they ask.
Yeah.
We put in that work, so we're not above anything. You're gonna see me taking out the trash, sweeping, and and doing all that stuff.
And he does most of all the work at Audio Box. Everybody thinks because I'm on Instagram that I'm pushing buttons and all that. No, I'm more or less, into the advertising and things like that, and actually being able to deal with, heads of labels and things like that. And
definitely. Like I said, you put God first, and then you put in that work. Watch what happens.
Absolutely.
Watch what happens.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times people ask us, as far as with the studio, or they say, "Man, I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to be." You sure?
You sure you want to? You ready
this?
to work? You want to work?
This is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It don't take no day. My phone ring every day. I gotta answer my phone. And I'm on vacation. I gotta answer my phone. I mean, I can't turn my phone off and go off the grid. You know, so you want to? Okay. I mean,
I think one of the biggest things for me is that when I first started, I was willing to beg, borrow, steal from any and everybody. But what I realized, I was asking everybody but God. So I thought about it once I hit rock bottom, I actually hit rock bottom, and I was just like, you know what? I've asked everybody but God. And once I asked God for what I wanted, everything turned around, and everybody who wasn't supposed to be, they understood that,
got flushed.
I mean, what I had to pay their money back or whatever, I was willing to do that because I understood that, you couldn't just ask different people stuff because people with money are different.
Yeah.
And the first time you say, can you?
Drop a drool.
They change like that automatically. You on there, let me not talk to this guy no more. But it didn't matter to me because I knew what the outcome was going to be. So for me, I'm not a prideful person. So if I saw you had some good rims and like you had some money, hey, you want to invest?
Yeah.
But what I learned is better to save your money and do it yourself versus to get the wrong people involved in it.
There it is.
Or to waste your time trying to fast track it. And the amount of time it took you to go through the whole process, you could have saved up the money and did it yourself. And that's what was the most important thing to me. That's what God showed me, that, all you had to do was ask me. And he did it better than I ever thought it could be because I didn't know what it's going to look like when I first started it. But even my landlord said, man, I didn't know you was going to do all this. I didn't know I had the money to do all this. But that's the main thing because I hear people always saying, well, I need to invest. I need to invest. I need a manager.
That's what a lot of people think.
But you don't need a manager. You need to just manage your money and plan everything out and pray about what you want and get it. I did.
See, I'm not going to lie to you all. This is something I know I was dealing with recently. There's some issues that was going on. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people don't understand the need for you to be able to provide for yourself. It goes back to that saying, God helps those that helps themselves. In the sense of matter that, not that you have to do everything with what you have, because sometimes you're going to need extra, right? But that's where you say you go and you ask God. And then from there, you got to make sure that you are sticking to a disciplined routine.
Oh, man. That part right there
breaks everybody, specifically in the creative world, dealing with music and et cetera, dancers up to artists. They don't realize, all right, I'm not doing something right now, discipline wise. There's something that's missing that is not allowing me to get that edge I need to get over.
And it's just simple stuff, just like being on time. I think that's the main thing. If you can be on time, then at least you've got the right attitude. But, we have a lot of people come in 30 minutes late, an hour late.
How do y'all handle that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm never late.
Face.
I try to work with them. I understand, to a point. But as a business owner, it does cost us, and it throws off, the next person. So
because if one person late, then your whole afternoon is behind.
Push back. Believe me, we understand that as a production. Yeah.
So how did you all get into what you all do?
Wow, this first time I do that. Well, I will tell you this. This is a passion project.
Okay.
2020, of course, pandemic, et cetera, was going on. Myself, I was DJing. I was living down in Charleston.
Okay.
Right? Everything was shut down, right? My brother, Skip, Kev, he was up here. He was in Columbia. And we were having conversations on the phone. It's just about like things that we like to do, the fact that we like talking to folks. We like networking because this is one thing that we found. You don't have basically business cards of everybody in a Rolodex. You see who's here. Best thing to do is to go out and network. Go talk with people. Rub elbows. See what's going on. And so since we couldn't do that in the traditional sense, we said we don't, and I always like to think like this. We don't just think about the problems.
Right.
We solution oriented.
That's it.
So he said, so what's the solution to this? We said, you know what? Since everything's locked up, they started popping out all these technologies where you can basically have these conversations virtually.
Exactly.
So we decided to come up with an idea for a podcast to help with it, almost like a knowledge-based digital investment into millennials. Because one thing that we kept seeing was that a lot of millennials, we wanted to do things, but we didn't have the ideas, mindset, or the tools to actually get it done. And one thing that we always remember from our parents and then our grandparents is like, well, if you don't know, ask.
Yep.
And so like, so who do you ask?
Mhm.
You ask people who are what? Who specialize in doing something.
Mhm.
You ask those people that have done it already, that have made the work and got the effort. So you can see, okay, so when you were making bread, what kind of yeast did you use?
Exactly.
What kind of flour did you use? What kind of pan? How do you get a darker loaf as opposed to a lighter loaf? How long do you let it rise? What's the proofing time? What is proofing?
Yeah.
And so we decided to go out and find people who are in specific areas and say, hey, we're going to figure out how you specialize in doing that. And we're going to spread this knowledge to the rest of millennials, because a lot of us, we're scared to ask people because we're always told that we're supposed to know how to do it. And that's a lie.
Yeah.
That is a lie. You are not going to know how to do everything from the ground up.
No.
You have to start somewhere. Someone's going to have to at least give you or feed you some kind of information to help you get going. And so from there, we started with virtual interviews,
Okay.
all kinds of people. We're talking about people who work in the South Carolina State House, coroner's office, people who run businesses about financial fiduciary planning, et cetera, like that.
Yeah.
And we realized that people were really interested in this stuff. And the information that we were learning was not just edifying to the people who were listening, but it was also edifying to us. So after a while, we were kind of pouring into our own tool bucket, and we were making sure that we were filling ourselves up too. So we're like, you know what? We're going to keep this going.
But how can we help you all then?
Hey, I will tell you this. One of the biggest things that we ask folk for are, hey, we need places to record our podcast, nice locations, specifically ones that are unique, help with that. And then also, if there are folks who need to get their name out, we have a nice network now from Charlotte to Columbia, Charleston, and Atlanta. Then we can definitely help promote, market, and advertise for those folks as well. Specifically, at people who are trying to build a name. And this is one of the reasons why we're here with the folks we're here today with. It's because of that. And growing up and listening to certain shows and stuff and knowing certain people and knowing what they're doing, we're like, hey, how can we make sure that we're that blessing to other people as well? Because we don't like to take. We like to be able to do reciprocal business.
Well, we're going to be building a podcast room, man. We'd love for you to come.
Would you invite us to do some podcasting there?
Sure.
Hey, we would love to
It's been
come.
on the schedule for a year and a half now. I'm going to get around to it.
Hey, look.
But we already got, we done already paid for a lot of the stuff. Well, we already got the stuff. I just got to get in there and do it. You know, we got stuff.
I trust and believe. I've witnessed your work. I've seen how you get down. I know you are not going to play with that.
By AJ, so we ain't buying nothing else until we get these cameras up, this up. Because, we've accumulated a lot of equipment.
And we're ready.
It's sitting there for a while. We had to actually move a lot of boxes out. We had the event the other week because we've got the equipment that the lights, the mic stand, everything.
Well, I'll tell you like this. We got some folks that know how to use that equipment.
Okay.
And we will come in and make sure that we were not wasting your time.
Because, like I say, we buy it, but I don't know how to use it.
That's what we'll jump in. I have no issue
one thing
with
about
that.
AJ, he can tell you anything you want about a computer. So that's one good thing. A lot of people from other studios actually come to AJ. Say, hey, how can I set this up and how can I set this? But
that's great
he
advice.
help them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a bonus. I'm gonna tell you like this: whenever you're able to do something and be successful, but also reach back and help others without fear of it causing you any, that's how you know you're doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing.
Definitely.
I will say, all right. So I have two other questions for you all.
Okay.
And please jump in. My fault. I'm up here because I'm gonna keep talking, but we have to ask this just because I know the audience wants to hear this. But out of all of the artists that you all have worked with, which one gave you the best experience and why? And you all can have different answers. I understand.
Let me think about it.
I don't know, man. It ain't how big they are. I guess
it's not.
It's just their character. I think it would be Block Boy JB. He was running from the law, and he was actually at our studio. He was actually at our studio. That's
really him.
But he made an impression on me.
It was a good impression.
But we've had bigger artists in there, but I think he made the biggest impression on me. Because we've had often everybody in there. Gotti.
Gotti's one of my favorite. I see. I said, yo.
Gucci, man.
Yeah.
Gucci's good, too.
I think for me was just Casey from Jodeci.
Yeah.
And I would say that because I told him, when we was in the studio recording, and I'm like, I trained my ear to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to y'all, and that's where I got my ear for music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to be sitting here working with you now is so crazy.
Tuning their project.
And you're asking me, should I hit it like this? Is I'm like, no, it's thinking like, and he, okay. And I'm like, wow, so that experience alone was just like, okay, this is worth, everything that I've been working for. You know?
And I would say the same too, because when I was younger, everybody in the neighborhood tried to be like Casey.
Oh, yeah.
and
You gotta hit the
Joe.
ooh yeah one time.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. You gotta hit it one time.
Gotta do the ooh yeah one time.
But to actually, I built his studio at his home, and but to actually be
Seriously?
there.
Oh, yeah.
So to be there on a day-to-day basis with him, and he'll call me up from time to time. Mike, I'm just calling to check on you, So
Y'all really building good relationships.
Yeah, because it's just like
family.
we used to be trying to sing like him, and then you're in his house and whatnot, and you become family. So he might call me up every 2 or 3 months and just to check on me, or I call him up, or,
Yeah.
Fantasia's the same way.
Fantasia's the same way.
We
Y'all better
did her
start. Y'all better
studio.
now.
Yeah.
We did her last studio, and I did her first one, but me and AJ did the second. AJ came and set up a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She's
And that's just one thing I really pride Mike and just being the same person every time you come in contact.
See that.
And,
Yeah,
I hear that a lot. To
Yeah,
me, I
yeah,
don't know I'm doing it, but they said, man, you're so nice to me.
Man, I
when
promise you,
I was
man.
sitting on that bucket.
I mean,
man,
they just
Oh.
because they
crazy.
never get too high, they never get too low.
Nah.
And you go. It's never a point where you see them being lazy. You know that's one of the greatest things that I even got from Audio Box. I knew nothing about it before I stepped in. Before I met Willie Frank, Mike, and AJ.
Two first names.
Just say first name. Just say first name.
Two
Just
first
first
name.
name.
Two first name. But before I met those guys, man, I knew nothing about music. Everything I've learned, everybody I interact with, all came through Audio Box. And I'm more impressed about the people that they produce out of their own employee. Their employees or people that come and use the studio. They said they got 20 worked out of there. Produced 20.
Which has got a couple
Yep.
of
Yeah.
plaques.
Yep.
Platinum
Jetson.
producers.
Jetson made.
And the fact that I was in the studio actually while these people are in here working, a lot of stuff, it's more inspiration than anything. If you don't go, when I tell everybody, you're trying to do something, you don't go to the small part, you go to the big part.
Yeah.
You find the best you can do. And I actually found Audio Box on Google. I
man.
said I want to do music. I
what's up.
Googled it, popped up 5-star. I saw the pictures, came right on in, got the number. And I tell everybody it's that simple. A lot of people say they want to do different stuff.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
very
saying? But
interesting. Yeah.
it's that simple. It's that easy. If you want to do it, you go do it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Leave you on that, man. I'm not going to hold you all too much longer.
Oh, we good.
I appreciate you all for that. Seriously, I
No,
appreciate
same
your
here, but
patience
we look
with
forward
us.
to y'all coming down. We get it up and running. We'll be the first one.
Please, I'm serious.
You got,
Oh, yeah.
you got our
Shake a
word.
hand on it.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be the first
I'm
one.
first one in there. Yeah.
Get the bugs out of it.
Oh, yeah, well,
me and
yeah,
AJ,
yeah.
Me and AJ are so busy, we kind of just like, we'll figure out how to get it up and running. But,
We'll come in there and get it. And
we'll
here's the
be blessed to
thing.
help you
And
there.
we tell people this too. My brother gets big at this. We'll come and we'll help produce a podcast. Like you could just want to come in and record. We'll get everything recorded, produce it, make sure everything's together. Because I understand, like you said, being able to help somebody from start to finish. If you could do that and you can put that in somebody's spirit, from there, sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah.
And last question.
Okay.
Last question. This is funny. So, of course, we're going to ask what current projects you all are working on because we want to, you all shameless plugs. Tell us what's going on. Let us know where we can find you at and all that good stuff. But what can we expect from you all in the future?
Okay. Projects that we're going to get started on actually is what me and Mike's been talking about for about a year is collaboration of artists along with Backwoods, like a compilation. So what we're going to do is take a handful of artists from these networking events that we have and compile them into one project and get the producers.
Yeah.
And so put these producers with these artists in Audio Box and let them do what they do. And we do what we do and put it out there. And we got Backwoods behind us. So,
because the talent that's been coming through there after it's over, we kind of look at each other like, we should have got this person named.
I'm about to say, You're like, come here.
Yeah, actually, they're good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
believe it or not,
definitely.
I would say probably 80% of them are great. It's hard to
some
say.
talent.
I mean, you might get 10 or 20% that's okay, but for the most part, everybody that comes through is great. I mean, I've got this new artist I'm going to be working with, probably starting this week, Ruby K. She's a young lady that, we just came to an agreement, and I'll be working with her and looking forward to it. And once again, like I said, I'm going to bring in Rico.
Yeah.
Rico's
great. Shout out to Rico, man. He's
Shout
one
him
of
out.
the most talented
Oh my goodness!
Because you already know
artists I ever met.
I'm a Fantasia Stan. So
Man, Rico.
pardon me, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to-
But Rico is just
I
like
know-
R. Kelly.
He can make his voice sound
Yeah,
like
man.
anybody, anything.
Yeah.
Got his own sound.
So I
but
look
he
forward
just-
to working with him.
Yeah,
He's good. I mean,
It's gonna be fruitful.
we were at Fantasia house building her studio, and he was sending some music. But me and AJ was looking at each other like, "Whoa,
Right,
this
man.
new product she got is crazy," because Rico has got his game together. And so I think that that's going to be a success story. He's signed now and everything. So
Nice.
we look forward to seeing some big things come from him,
So,
and also working with him because the talent that we run across is just tremendous, man. I mean, but to have producers in there like Zaytoven and
Saw that.
different people who
Yeah.
actually come there to set up shop at Audio Box Studio.
And they'll work out of there for us.
Yes.
yeah, so we, like I said, when we have these artists, we're not just hosting, we actually building relationships with these artists.
Mhm.
So even with his manager, and he's super cool and he wants to work with us. So it's just like a good relationship that we have, that we can reach out. If somebody want to beat from Zaytoven, we can definitely get you in the room.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It
Wow.
might cost you a little something,
But that's understood.
it's
Yeah.
like, it's not, no, I don't know. Let me see. No, are you serious? If I know you're serious, I can,
Wow.
make a call. It's nothing but a
And
conversation.
that's one of the good things about being in our position. We have Zaytoven, we have Drummer Boy,
Yeah.
different producers.
So 2024.
Yeah,
Is that
man.
what you asked about?
Yeah, man. I want to know, first of all, how y'all
Yeah.
closing out the year, and how y'all expect to go into 2024.
We already started 2024. Really.
I was about to say, see,
Yeah.
you're thinking the way I
Never
think.
stops.
So, like, this is the last quarter getting ready for next year.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, the sky's the limit for us, man. We really want to get into this publishing side of things.
Okay.
Just really getting these artists and directing them in the right direction to where they can see some income.
Business.
You don't have to be super rich, but you can make a
Oh.
decent living
And I
if you
think that's-
handle your business.
Yeah.
I think
right
that's
way.
one thing that we both want to kind of get involved in is helping people, because we're so busy doing the things we do that we forget that, people look up to us and they're looking for some kind of direction or something. And I think that's what I realized when I came to Charlotte. There was a lot of people in high places, I would say, that I felt wasn't doing as much as they should be doing. And now I kind of feel we're in that position and we're kind of not doing what we should be doing too. So I think that
Wow,
us up,
man.
and we want to do something different because
The
it's
amount
not
of
that they don't
accountability
want-
that you all have
Yeah,
is wild.
no.
It's not that they don't want to help. It's just that they're probably like AJ and I so busy that you
Yeah.
don't really see the position you're in to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that 24 would be a year that we kind of reach out and
Oh, yeah.
try to help people.
We
But
are.
it can
Yeah.
be, I mean, you can't kind of have to watch what you're doing because you have people calling you. I mean, I had my phone
I was
ringing
about
all
to
day.
say.
Oh, yeah,
today.
yeah.
You can
say,
do it.
You
Yeah.
can say hello to somebody. Next thing you know, you got 26 messages coming
Oh,
through.
yeah.
And this, that, and
Yeah,
that.
no, they definitely got to have something there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of them need a lot of artist development. We can point them in that direction as well.
Mhm.
Just trying to see what level you on first, and then saying, okay, well, I think you should go this route.
Yeah.
You need a writer.
Yeah.
You need to produce all these
People
artists.
need to hear that sometimes. Yeah.
necessarily
You
have
need
to
to hear
write
the
their
truth.
songs, because your favorite artists probably don't write their songs.
Exactly.
So you don't
Exactly.
don't feel a certain way.
Mhm.
And I always tell artists, like, if you look at the credits, you'd be like, do I really
hate people
do
on
I
the
like the
credits.
artist, or do I like
Say it.
this list of credits right here?
Yeah.
Because that list of credits is, you know what I'm saying, doing a lot of that
Heavy lifting.
And
Yeah.
that's what people don't realize in today's age. They think because they know how to run Pro Tools or Fruity Loop, they don't need nobody else. But if you
No,
look at
don't.
the song credits on a successful
It's a
album
team.
like Chris Brown, sometimes he had 10 different writers and stuff.
Exactly. Like the song that he has out right now that's knocking out the radio. Yeah.
Because what we try to tell people, if you're not signed for a reason, and let us maybe help show you what some of those reasons are. We're not going to say that we know everything, but usually if you're not signed, there's something you're not doing right. And
Point.
I can hear a lot of it, and if they want to hear it, we'll tell them the truth. But
I
me
like
personally,
that.
I just
like
let
that.
them know.
The truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had someone yesterday, they sent me some music and sounded great, But a few things I could point out to him, he appreciate that, but that's
Creators
what it
need
is.
that.
If you're not signed, you're not signed for a reason. You need to figure out what that is, because there's no sense in keep on doing the same thing and you're not getting no traction. I mean, ask somebody and believe them, and don't get mad when they say that, you got to start over. Or,
You're saying
this ain't you,
everything
dog.
that I tell people. They think I'm lying when I'm telling them. Yes.
we see
yes.
it. We see it.
Because the number one thing of it is, no matter who and how important somebody is, if it's not a hit song, there's nothing we can do with it. I can't even call nobody if it's not a hit song. AJ won't call his connects. I won't call my connects. Not if it's not a hit song, because you only get one chance to impress somebody. And we would love to help you, impress someone.
Yeah.
Because it does us good, too, to be able to find somebody good. But
It's true.
the realization of it is they only want to hear good news, and everything's not good. I mean,
Right.
Well, it's social media, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They only show all the good stuff on social media. Sometimes, you got to really show the downfalls and hardships.
Yeah.
And
I tell people you only get to see the 2% that's good.
Yeah.
The other 98%, they kind of obscure it.
So
Yeah.
that's just really educating. And like I said, that publishing thing, I know for me and Mike, we've been talking about it for the last probably year and a half. So we're definitely going to hammer that.
Because you all would be a great resource for
Absolutely.
folks.
And we get to see a lot of it at first,
Yep.
and we seen Tootsie, I say his name wrong.
Yeah.
Shout out. That's he recorded a couple songs in the very beginning of Audio.
Wow.
He's one of the top artists right now.
but to see him on the videos and stuff, you kind of smile because it's just like,
Put them in the
Yeah,
our
you
paths
never-
cross somewhere, but
yeah.
we don't never try to take nobody's credit. But
No.
when their paths cross us and we see them go to success, we kind of feel good to know
we
that.
saw him in the beginning. Is what we trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
So they was regular
Make
artists.
sure that they were in an environment where they could
Love
take
videos. Yeah.
And no matter who they are, 9 times out of 10, AJ's done something to their songs. I mean, I think he recorded his whole first album.
His first album, mix.
He mixed the whole album,
Yeah, the red lights.
So,
and
yeah. And same with DaBaby. I mean, he did all the baby stuff until, he started getting a lot more responsibility
Song he did
with
with
kids
Dua
and
Lipa.
stuff.
Yeah.
the remix he did with
We
Dua
did that.
Lipa.
That
Song
went
he
double,
did.
triple platinum.
Good Lord.
AJ did that too.
Good Lord. Okay.
And like I said, I don't never take the credit.
Credit,
for it.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
a guy who's actually in the recording room with them, along with our other engineers. And shout out to all of them too, because they make us number one, and we appreciate it.
Great engineers. That's a bonus to the studio.
And a lot of people don't know that most of our engineers probably came up under A&J and been recording for at least 10 years. I mean, seriously.
So you let them come up on you, learn in the studio, work
Jetson
out the
made
studio.
it. He started out with AJ.
So they watched me as kids. A lot of them watched me as kids, and to reach back, a lot of them are from South Carolina.
I was about to ask.
And I
'cause know
told
your
Mike, because
connections.
Mike was like,
Yeah.
I was the main engineer. I'm killing myself. I'm like, Mike,
I said, AJ, bring your crew up, man.
I've been
Bring your
doing this
crew up.
20 years, Mike. He said, I said, I got some engineers, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna need some work though.
Yeah.
I'm
we can
gonna
put it
bring them
together.
up.
Yeah.
He wasn't lying, I mean,
So, yeah, we definitely have some talent, and for them to be able to watch it done the right way.
But done in a professional way.
Yeah, that way. To say, okay, this is an example that I can see somebody did, and
That's what I'm at. That's what we asked for.
But,
Yeah.
but our engineers, most of them, they got about 10 years because they've been under AJ ever since they was 13 or 14. But to see, Jetson and people like that that started at AJ Studio and a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, the
I mean,
tag.
it's probably like 7 or
Jetson
8 of
made
them.
another one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got a quick story real quick. I know you got to wrap up.
Go ahead.
So I'm recording Jetson as an artist. He was an artist before he was a producer. And so he was producing a song for some guy. I don't know. I think it was one of his songs featuring somebody. So we wrap up the session. He called me the next day, and I guess he had some girl hear the song, and she said, I like that. Oh, Lord, Jetson made it. And so he said, you can bounce that down, man. That's a tag. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What tag are you talking? When I say, oh, Lord, I said, I guess when I bounced it down, sent it to him.
Yeah.
Next day I hear, oh, Lord, Jetson made another. There on out, he in the little room at Quantum in Columbia. I'm walking past the room. I'm just saying, oh, Lord. Because I know one day, and he did it. And like, he's one of the biggest producers right now. And that tag is like
Platinum
everywhere.
producer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Same way with 20. 20 started with me before AJ got on board. And he used to be sleeping on the sofa, and I used to live in there.
Really?
And to see him, with a couple of platinum plaques.
Oh, yeah.
and,
He brought him back.
and with an attitude bigger than the whole studio.
As an event. As it should be.
Yeah. But we love to see, our people do good. And we don't take the credit for it. We just,
That's
You create, it's like y'all are almost like an incubator.
That's
for
what
talent.
It ain't like the older just act like
Yeah. Real talk.
Throw a slack this way or something.
Yeah, come on.
That's all we
Don't
want.
forget where you came from. Yeah.
But it's great what you guys are doing, man. And we look forward to when we get our studio up and running, podcast up.
We'll be
Let
there.
you guys be the first one to
Hold you to it.
get on the mics.
I'll be there.
For sure.
And I have to say this before we finish out. Could you tell people how they could reach out to you all if they're interested in using the services Audiobox.
For sure. Me personally, you can reach out to me on Instagram at AJ Quantum Beats, and also Audiobox Studios is where you can find me and Mike, and we'll respond. Contact information and everything's on that.
Yes, it is.
As well. So just DM the numbers on there. That's pick up or text me.
I know y'all aren't playing either.
Yeah.
No, you're
So,
serious.
And me just Audiobox Studios on Instagram, and my number's not on there, AJ.
Hey, I was about to say.
if they want to talk to Mike, I'll forward it to him.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. But studio design, hands down. Interior, man, he does some crazy stuff.
I
Man. You gotta
gotta
check him
bother
out.
you, man. I'm gonna bother you some more.
Celebrities, they call him to do all kind of crazy
I
stuff
can
in the house.
imagine.
And he sent me pictures.
Tell
I'm like,
I'm telling you, man.
that stuff is in
What
your
in the
head.
world?
That's
Good.
wild.
And it's
Yeah.
different. You know, you can hear
Yeah.
people talk about stuff,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
why I'm kind of glad I was able to. It kind of came full circle today. 'Cause
It
I
did.
just always,
It did.
you know, I got my number, I got AJ.
yeah,
number,
I didn't
you
know
what
he was
I'm
gonna be here.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I called us like, all right.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just glad I can be here, man. Just give them their flowers, man, just to see the progress they've made, man,
Yeah.
so fast and how they've adapted and just treated their customers.
Well,
People, anybody,
well.
the service that they provide is top of the charts.
Yeah, and it's great to be a black-owned business and to be open for 16 or 17
Preach.
years with no incidents whatsoever.
Yes.
And because he and I both know that the main thing is the studio, that's the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the money, it's not who's in there, it's just we have to be consistent, we have to stay running because that's going to
means
be our
so much.
legacy. And,
It means so much.
and we don't, and that's why we quit letting a lot of people rent the studio and stuff because we could rent it to survive for a couple of $100 and end up costing us our whole business, and it's not worth the money. So we quit.
Protect your investment.
We have to
Absolutely.
protect
Preach
the
it,
investment
yeah.
and then just really be careful who we let do it because if you let the wrong people in there, we got 20, 30 people on the outside and we right there on Front Street. So, you know,
You have to be mindful.
yeah, we do. And we have to always keep our guys aware that, you know, any day we can get shut down for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main thing. You can't just run it for everybody. It has to be for people who are really serious. And AJ, he runs the studio. I have very little to do with it as far as the day-to-day runnings of it. I mean, he knows it inside and out, and I'm out building other
Getting
stuff.
work.
Oh yeah.
But we're a great partnership, and I say that, you know, you can't do everything by yourself, and we got a whole team of people. I mean, sometimes I look on our chat, and we got 13 people that work for us, and that's a beautiful thing to be able to do that, and to be able to be here talking to you guys is great too.
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely a pleasure, man.
Man, I'm going to tell you, just as a black man, especially being from the South,
yeah, I'm from the South too.
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
Look, you know how cool it is. I always tell folks, like, especially hip hop and business folk in the South, we're different.
Yeah.
We like to own something from the ground up and do that hard work from the ground up. It's always good to see two statesmen, not elder statesmen, doing it correctly. Because now I can look at you all and be like, okay, you format my behavior. Let me make sure that this is looking this way. I know that when I move forward with business, I want it to look like this. My interactions with folks should look like this. And it helps me make sure that I'm keying off on the proper things. And that's something that this is what we like to bring to the podcast. This is what we like people to know.
Not to cut you off, but that was one of the things that I always wanted. I wanted something of quality. I didn't want nothing, because most people, when they build something, let's just do it this way, then later when we get money, we'll do it that way. I've never seen that work. I said, let me build it like I got some money, even though I didn't have no money.
Good point.
I need to build it like it's something.
Yep.
And I didn't want to come up with a business. I had to beg people to come in. So the building itself was part of the marketing scheme. And because I was a photographer, I was able to show people lifestyle instead of just, you know, a ceiling with nothing in it. Every ceiling to me is like a place to really express
It's a
your
canvas.
talent. Yeah. It's a canvas that everybody always leave empty, and every one of our ceilings got something different in it. Yeah.
Man, I know we got to wrap up.
Yeah, we gotta wrap
I'm going to tell you like this. I'm coming to the studio.
All right.
yeah.
And when you get that podcast room open, we there first ones in there.
Yeah.
All right? So I just want to make sure that's understood.
Let's get
Hold
it.
on the word, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say from the Hilltop Glove podcast, we thank you all for joining us today. We want to shout out Audiobox Studios.
World famous audio.
Yes, world famous Audiobox Studios. AJ, Mike,
Co-sign said.
Javo,
Yeah.
Skip, Tamaya, DJ and what? We're coming to you from Caroline Health Park. Man, we appreciate y'all today on the podcast. Man, if you didn't get any jewels from this, you missing something. Please clean your ears out. As I like to always tell people, make sure you tell somebody beside them that you love them, that you appreciate them, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Appreciate it. Oh, yeah.